Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Florida Weather Watch's weekly weather forecast for the week of Monday, April 3rd to Friday, April 7th. Before I continue, please make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Please make sure that you share out this video and this channel with as many people as possible, as that will help me greatly expand this community and the outreach for this channel. Hit that like button, please, if you enjoy and appreciate the forecasts I do give. And without further ado, let's get into the forecasting. I apologize first and foremost that this video did not come out sooner, as my focus has been on the severe weather forecasting for the center of the country recently, where over 100 tornadoes impacted the heart of the United States of America in Iowa, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama. All of those states received tornadoes, and many of them very damaging, devastating, and unfortunately deadly. As It was a tornado outbreak, a severe weather outbreak for the record books. Almost 900 severe weather reports between tornadoes, hail, and wind occurred Friday evening and Friday afternoon in that area of the country. But fortunately, here in Florida, we are not having to worry about any of that coming up here in Florida. We have been very lucky and very well protected in recent weeks and recent months, but it has its downfalls, as I'm going to get into the end of my video with the worsening drought situation, especially for the folks in Southwest Florida and Collier County. So let's get into the headlines I'm going to cover today. First of all, we're going to see some storms, some scattered storms, maybe a couple strong to severe thunderstorms in the Florida Panhandle area that are going to quickly move on through on Monday. And then everything clears out for much of the state of Florida come Tuesday, where we will continue to see summer-like heat building. And unfortunately, as I mentioned, we very much have a worsening drought situation in the state of Florida, especially for the folks in Western Florida and Southwest Florida that I will show you towards the end of the video. So let's get into what is currently going on in our world of weather. Okay, well, currently, this is the water vapor imagery for the entire United States, for the Caribbean, Eastern Pacific, and the Western Atlantic here. And there's some things to note here. Okay, the first thing to note here is we have been very lucky here in Florida to be protected from all of this weather that has been happening across the United States of America. And why has that been the case? Well, ladies and gentlemen, for much of the entirety of this dry season, this winter season, there's been an area of high pressure centered around somewhere near the Yucatan Peninsula into the Gulf of Mexico. At times, it's been over Florida. And what this has done is it has allowed us to be protected here. You're going to notice that the flow over top of Florida here is kind of acting like a blocking situation here, where you're seeing that there is this dome, so to speak, of high pressure that is over the Gulf of Mexico and into South Florida here. So what that does is it causes all these storms here, these storm systems, to kind of skirt on over and north of us across Texas, across California. All these storm systems have been going across the United States like this, not really impacting us, but this area of high pressure has been firmly in control, and it will continue to be in control for the next several days ahead. Even this storm system that you see that is currently impacting Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas, this storm system right here is not going to impact Florida, except maybe the bottom part is going to give some showers and thunderstorms to northern Florida tomorrow, as it's going to quickly exit the scene It's going to make its way on out here and clear out by the end of the day tomorrow. So that's what's currently going on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the future forecast. And I promise that I'm going to be able to make this quick today, this part of the forecast, because honestly, it's going to be easy. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our American forecast model. This forecast model is starting out at Sunday night at 8 p.m. I'm recording this currently at about 11 o'clock on Sunday night, April 2nd. So this is very close. You're going to notice that we have our showers and storms that are affecting Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas here. And I'm just going to go ahead and breeze on through this because as you see here, tomorrow, as we get into tomorrow afternoon, we may see some excess showers and thunderstorms over the northern Florida panhandle that quickly exit out the scene here. And then it goes off the coast already by early Tuesday morning. So then you're going to notice as I go ahead and speed this through time here, not anything really happening rain-wise as usual over the state of Florida. So as you can see here, go through this is early Thursday morning. This is Thursday afternoon. This is Thursday evening. Maybe a scattering of showers and storms. Nothing really big. Nothing that we're not used to as Floridians here. And then as I keep on going through time, this is Friday morning. Friday morning, still nothing. Friday afternoon, maybe again scattering showers and storms across northern Florida. As remember what I showed earlier, the storm track is going to continue to be the same, where you're going to have storms going across the southeast United States like this, and maybe the bottom of the systems that go by will skirt Florida here. That's just about it. It's nothing going to be major. And then, as you see here, for the Florida Peninsula here, pretty much the entire Florida Peninsula right here remains dry. Maybe a scattering of showers here and there, but nothing that's going to be very heavy and impactful. Now, the thing you're going to notice, though, is, God, these temperatures are going to be hot, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to feel exactly like summer. Okay, this is for Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. here. Looking at 91 in the center of the state of Florida, 90 down in Homestead here. Plenty of 90s inland, and that's not going to change. Actually, as we go through time here, you're going to notice that that's going to continue, and actually it's going to get hotter. This is for Monday afternoon. Look at those temperatures down here. Look at the temperatures, 94 degrees in the Orlando and Kissimmee areas inland here. Some of these areas are going to be 95 degrees here. 90s inland everywhere, pretty much. It's going to continue. It's going to get hotter as the week goes on. Wednesday looks like a particularly hot day. 90s reaching all the way up to Gainesville, up into southern Georgia. And this is only the beginning of April. So this is hotter than normal for this time of year, where we're getting 90s getting to southern Georgia. A little bit cooler along the coastlines. That's because of the easterly flow across Florida here, bringing some sea breeze. So once it hits that hot land, it drives all the hot air towards the western part of the state here. And then as I go through on Thursday, you'll notice it's starting to get cooler over here, but that cool air will not reach here, unfortunately, because there's just not enough push in the atmosphere to get that through the state of Florida here. You're going to notice on Thursday here, 90s dominating Central Florida, upper 80s to lower 90s in South Florida, upper 80s to lower 90s in Northern Florida. Nothing going to change. At night, not much cooling going to happen. Maybe inland into the mid 60s, but for those areas around the coast, staying around 70 degrees. And then Friday, it remains hot going into the weekend. So the bottom line is for this week, once we get past tomorrow in northern Florida, where we're going to see some showers and storms, maybe a couple strong thunderstorms, the rest of the week will be pretty clear across Florida, getting much hotter as well. The last thing I really need to touch on is the very concerning drought situation over Florida. Okay, about a month ago, I was showing you this map here, And about a month ago, I was talking about some general drought areas here. Nothing too severe for drought. This was 1 month ago right here. Notice some moderate drought, some abnormally dry areas here. Nothing too concerning. But now we have a very concerning drought situation developing um, across Florida here. You're going to notice, especially in central and southern Florida here, except for southeast Florida, where there's been some excess rainfall throughout the winter season here. In this area, we are now seeing some much more concerning levels of drought here. We are seeing the drought stage 2 here for severe drought. And for Collier County, that is where we have our extreme drought here. And this extreme drought means that fire danger is very extreme. That means that anything that sets a blaze here will continue to go. Salt water is now definitely probably going to be getting into the fresh water supply here. And eventually, at some point, if this does not change, if we don't get relief in this area, there's the potential we may reach the highest level of drought in Southwest Florida, which is called the exceptional drought. And at that point, that's when you need to do water conservation. That's where you're going to have water restrictions definitely in place in those areas. And it's not going to make life easy there, especially for this being the area of the state of Florida where a lot of crops and agriculture happens. So that's a real concern right now, that this drought does not look like it's going to change. It's probably going to get worse over the state of Florida in the coming weeks because, again, this area of high pressure, like I told you about before right here, this entire area of high pressure has been standing firm and it's not really budged much. And what that area of high pressure does is it pushes air down. And as it pushes air down, it's going to cause things to heat up. And what happens is as that high pressure, that air that sinks in high pressure goes down to the surface, it moves away all the moist air from the surface. So it's actually going to be acting to dry the ground out here in Collier County and much of southern and central Florida. So it's not going to it doesn't look like it's going to get better. And at this point, for my folks that are in central and southern Florida, you may have to now start considering water conservation methods. You're going to have to probably restrict your own selves from irrigating your lawns. That means not watering your lawns as often, because most of the water that's used in the state of Florida is actually not for drinking. It's for irrigating crops and for lawns and a lot of outdoor purposes. And then another issue that comes up is possible saltwater intrusion, which means that fresh water supplies will be lower as well. So we have as much as everybody probably is enjoying the sunshine, loving the heat and the great spring break weather across Florida, is coming at a cost. It really is coming at a cost at this point, because we're at a very fine tipping point here in the state of Florida where we need to save water, because it's kind of weird. The roles are now reversing, where in California they were in extreme drought for a very long time, and they were running out of water and they were desperate for water supplies. And now California's drought is pretty much gone, and then now we are experiencing the drought here in Florida, especially in the central and southwestern parts of the state. So my folks in Florida, especially if you live in these areas where it's orange and this red color right here, start doing water conservation methods now. Reduce the amount of times that you're watering your lawns, and you may have to reduce the times that you're showering and stuff like that, because the more water we can save now, the better off we'll be for when we actually are, unfortunately, running low on water in the state of Florida, because that is a very distinct real possibility, as there's not really any big storm systems that are coming down the road. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please be conscious of your environment. Please be conscious of each other. Start conserving water so that we can be prepared for if, and not just if, but when this drought gets worse across Florida, because it's going to. But the bottom line is, going back to my headlines here, is pretty much the headlines are going to say the same. Storms will be in the northern part of the state on Monday. Continued summer-like heat. That's going to continue to make this drought situation worse. Ladies and gentlemen, please pray for the folks in Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, as they continue to recover from rounds of devastating, deadly tornadoes. And unfortunately, this upcoming Tuesday, the folks in Iowa, Illinois, and Missouri are going to face another very devastating round of severe weather, as the computer forecast models show a very dark picture for Iowa and Illinois and Missouri come Tuesday evening. But I will have a video out on that tomorrow after I get home from work, highlighting what is going to potentially happen in those areas. My next forecast video for Florida will probably be in the middle of the week, because I know with Good Friday and Easter weekend coming up, many people will be heading to the beaches to see if, and will be heading back here to see if they can expect any changes in the weather. So look forward to that. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Enjoy your week ahead. Get ready to gear up for another work week ahead. And I will see you again soon. And as I will always close out, from my late great cross-country coach, Jim Richardson, there'll be weather or not. But whatever the weather will be, I'll be here tracking it along the way. Have a great Sunday night, and I look forward to seeing you again.